my internet again. So we're excited to welcome Malcolm Lawson today. And part of the conversation we've been having as a community is just like, how do we collaborate and grow the real community in the Bay Area? And Malcolm has been someone that's connected to all of us, and we really appreciate what he's doing. And so we figured we'd bring him in. He's been gracious to join us and just talk a little bit about what he's up to and how that is, working and could potentially be ideas for us to collaborate and grow this community. So welcome, Malcolm.
Yeah, hey guys, super excited to be here. I love collaborating with other agents. I love that you guys are building a community here. And, I want to support you guys and help you out in any way I can to help you kind of build and collaborate with one another.
So to kick things off, I mean, I've always appreciated your story and, a little bit about how you got the fire sparked to build your YouTube and also just be really a leader in the real brokerage community. And so it'd be cool to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I first joined Real in March 2021. Real was less than 2,000 agents at that point. We're only in 32 states. And I really joined because I had a couple of like really good friends come over to Real. Tim Macy was kind of the first one that came over to Real. And Tim and I connected over videos. We were both doing a lot of videos in like 2018, 2019. And he came over to Real. He brought, Brad McCallan came over, Katie Day came over, Bob Tompkins. And I was friends with all these people, prior to Real. And like that's what really attracted me to Real at the first point. It's just the talent that was coming over and the culture and community that they brought with them that they were building. And so that was March of 2021. Now, I also was going through a divorce at that time. And I have a son. He's got very severe intellectual disabilities and autism. He's 10. He's still nonverbal and not potty trained. And so I found myself as a single parent to a disabled child, just the months right after I joined Real. And one, I'd say like having that community that I could tap into was just so valuable, being able to hop on these masterminds and connect with these other people at Real. But also my business just kind of completely collapsed, after finding myself as a single parent. You go on so many appointments and just trying to find babysitters and trying to juggle everything. And my son wasn't sleeping through the night. And my whole business just kind of fell apart after this divorce. And luckily, Real has additional streams of income into our businesses here. It isn't just commission based. We have these other options available to us. And so in 2021, I just joined and I was like, okay, well, maybe I can pivot my business. Maybe I can start focusing on content creation and agent attraction. And so I started creating content around Real and started helping grow this company. And I started earning more income from that. And how I looked at it was every $10,000 I earned in revenue share, that's one less transaction that I needed to do in real estate. And it took me about 3 years of kind of juggling, real estate and being a single parent and creating content for revenue share. It took me about 3 years until revenue share was like a full-time income for me. And maybe about 3.5, 4 years before I could completely step out of production. So November of last year, I'm completely transitioned out of production, and now it's purely just content creation and agent attraction that I'm focused on. And I love it because it gives me so much more flexibility and so much more time with my son. And so I'm really grateful for Real for having these different options for income into our businesses. And I think I'm a great example of that, revenue share and, there's other streams of income as well, but these really can replace your income over time. And if people out there want to eventually step out of production, like there is a path forward with that. And so like that's been just a game changer for me. The culture, the community has been incredibly helpful for me as well. So I'm incredibly grateful to be here at this company and, creating content and helping this company grow.
That is awesome. I mean, with that said, I kind of want to launch this poll and then ask everyone what is the reason why you joined Real. If you guys can also share your reason, I would love to see, gather all these answers and then share with everyone later on. And and then while you guys are doing that, just thought to share. I also learned about Real through Malcolm by watching one of his videos, and that was during my trip going to Annapolis, Maryland, and that was
Right.
because my husband went to Naval Academy. So we took all our kids to see Naval Academy. And then we were staying at one of our friends' Airbnb close by. And I saw his video and I know that he was in Maryland. I just kind of like reached out to him and turned out he was like, yeah, I can meet you at this coffee shop, which is like down the street from me. So I just walked over and met with him face to face, and that was so enlightening. But it took me a year before I decided to switch over to Real. But still, I'm just so grateful for that opportunity to be able to talk to you, understand what the culture is, and it's been really wonderful. And also like watching all your videos, especially when you're interviewing EXP and what's the other one? Fathom and different.
LPT, Epic. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it saved me a lot of time to do my own research. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's super ironic that you reached out and you're right down the street from my dad's actually worked at the Naval Academy for over 30 years now, working on the networks there. So it's just meant to be serendipitous.
Yeah, totally, totally. All right, and I guess like we can start asking some questions, but I kind of want to open it up to everyone as well. If you guys I want to ask a question, just raise your hand. I mean the emoji hand. And then oh, I think you can do this too, right? If you do this, oh, it doesn't work. Never mind. You can do the emoji hand at the bottom, and then so we can have you ask your questions as well. All right. And Noah, do you want to kickstart some questions?
Sure. I mean, I think part of where we started with this, right, is just we want to create connection and collaboration within the real agent, the real broker community in the Bay Area. And that's something that we've been talking about, we've been working on, but we're not, we're trying to find a vision for how we do that in a way that's like helpful for everyone, right? Which includes everyone that joins this call. We've got a Facebook group, we've got a WhatsApp group. And I think part of it is just, getting your perspective on that. And I know it's a little different maybe than the recruiting element that you've done, but just any thoughts you have, you shared a little with us prior to this meeting started.
Yeah, about like you guys building a community.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, man. I love the idea. I think that community is really what people are really searching for, when they're choosing a brokerage. And I think it's really special. And kind of my ideas on it is trying to make it in person as much as you can. If you guys can meet up for coffee, if you guys can host masterminds or put on an annual event or something, just to kind of bring this community in person, every now and then, so you guys can meet up, you can collaborate on content creation, and you mastermind network. I think that in-person community is incredibly valuable. And I think it could be a great opportunity for you guys to collaborate on content creation as well. Especially I think the fact that, you guys are kind of in different parts of the Bay Area and maybe there's, you cover different markets as well. I think that's huge potential for collaboration, referral networks, all of that. And I think there's probably a lot of unique aspects to selling real estate in the Bay Area that like somebody in Maryland may know nothing about. So masterminding and networking with people locally, I think it's a beautiful thing. And I love that you guys are trying to pull this together. I
Oh,
think you're
also,
muted.
oh, Noah, you're muted.
Well, I just saw that Jody and Brian had questions, and I mean, I think the goal here is to open this up just so it's a opportunity for people to ask Malcolm questions and for us to collaborate. So,
Yeah, Jody, you want to go ahead then?
Yeah, thanks so much, Malcolm, for joining us. I guess I just want to say that, yeah, I feel like Real offers us the best of both, right? It offers us so much in terms of being able to create our own brand and culture, while being backed by a really great cloud-based brokerage. And the numbers really work in our favor. And for me, having left your big corporate traditional brokerage 4 years ago, and then starting Kai Real Estate, but under a different brokerage, and then being kind of disillusioned by that, and then discovering Real, and really being inspired by your story, Malcolm, and just the really great content you provide. And not only that, but really kind of, well, genuine heart. And, you know, like they're really good people here.
Mhm.
I want to collaborate with Roland more. I know, congrats, Roland, you just had your baby girl. So you've got
Thank
your
you.
hands literally very full. But we've got such great people in this community. And I guess what's just like, I'm at a place where, you know, we joined cloud-based brokerage. We just poured a lot into our brand and building our community. And I was like, this makes so much sense. Like, people are going to join us. And part of me feels like I'm either a branding failure or whatever it is, right? But it's been a bit of a struggle. And we've got great people in our community, but there's that element of people feeling like you're trying to sell them on something. And I'm like, I'm so done with that piece of it. And at this point, it really just is about how do we just have the community that we have and build on it and really go deep on it. And just, you know, by that, people will, I guess, be attracted to what we're doing. And so I don't know, that's been the struggle for me of just like, what we've got is really freaking great. And I guess, you know, maybe I personally am not great at branding or putting it out there. Roland is, other of us in this room, others of us are, but how do we just, I don't know, get it
Yeah.
out there and get people to notice.
Yeah, so don't beat yourself up too much. It is surprisingly hard, you know, to attract people. And I think, you know, I think part of it is that a lot of people have this perception that was created by another cloud brokerage that we have to kind of overcome, and we have to kind of reframe things, and show them that, you know, this isn't about us, you know, making money. It's about building community and about collaboration. And like one thing that I really love is that I think that Reels found a way to incentivize a collaboration and incentivize a positive culture. And we do this by that ownership of the agents in the company. You know, because we all own stock in this company, like we are owners in this together, and that creates a incentive for us to collaborate, and you know, it fosters a positive culture. And so I think part of the struggle is just kind of educating people on that, you know, and like telling them like, no, the ownership in the company is not like a gimmick. Like this has a positive impact on the quality of the training, on the culture, on the community that we have, versus, you know, a traditional model where the only person that really benefits is the broker and the owner of the company. And a lot of the traditional model, there's a financial disincentive for you to collaborate and share and provide high level training to the people in your exact market. So I think a lot of it is just people have a certain perception, and we need to kind of reframe it and kind of educate them on what this actually looks like. And I think we do that by not just telling them about our culture and our community, but showing them. And I think, you know, in-person events, and I think the coffee meetups, and you know, I think content creation is one of the best ways to kind of show people this. I'll tell everybody here the single best post that you can make on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube for like agent attraction. The single best piece of content is showing you tapped into the community, showing how much fun you're having at these different events. You know, you've probably seen me record this a few times. I'm going to upload this as an Instagram story. Everybody here should upload this as an Instagram story, tag everybody else. You want to create that FOMO and show how strong and how fun of and how collaborative of a community that we actually have. So I think it's just kind of just showing people, rather than telling them, about how great our community and collaborative it really is.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Brian, what you
Brian?
got, man? It's good to see you.
Malcolm, it's great to see you, man. It's been a while. I guess what I'm wondering, and you've talked to so many different agents now, and you brought so many different agents over to Real. Is there like a most valuable part to Real that you think an established agent really is interested in? Like, is it the buying of the stock? Is it the different income streams? I mean, is it unique to everyone, or is there like, a top 2 or 3, 4 established agents that like they really focus on?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. And one of the questions I ask people when I have conversations with them is like, hey, so what is most important to you in a brokerage that you choose to work with? Just so I know where to guide the conversation. And for a lot of people, it's actually not the cost savings. I have somebody that's joining right now. He makes like $500,000 in GCI every year. Him saving $4,000 or $10,000, that doesn't move the needle very much. So these top producers, it's not the cost savings. So many of them, when I ask them what's most important to you, they say culture. Like they say culture and community. That really is probably the number one answer that I get. And kind of the second answer is probably going to be technology. If you have bad technology, it makes your life so stressful. And having a smooth technology, it can really enhance your business and save you so much stress. And then like retirement and an exit strategy is probably the third most common. And I actually love having that conversation with people. I'll ask them like, so like, do you have any kind of retirement plan or, goals with your current business? And we all know most agents don't. And then I can kind of show them like, at Real, if you earn $24,000 in free stock every year for the next 10 years, that's $250,000 in free stock you could put towards retirement. In the next 10 years, it's probably gonna be worth a heck of a lot more. To kind of paint in a picture that retirement is actually like an option, and getting out of production one day is an option for them here at Real. So I'd say, what did I say? Culture and community be number one, technology be number two, and then number three be like retirement or an exit strategy out of production. It seems like everybody has some kind of plan for an exit strategy out of production, at some point, whether you're coaching or running a team or revenue share or something else. Like everybody's got some sort of plan, and Real has a few different options for you.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Roland?
Yeah. Jody, I just wanted to piggyback off of what you said too, where, definitely you're not a failure in any sense. Like I've been here at Real for almost 4 years now. And like, you guys had no idea, right? Like that I was there's just so many things that I think a lot of our markets here in the Bay Area have always been kind of, just hesitant to like cloud-based brokerages. I think even more so like our market than any other markets probably in the United States, are more so like that. So I just think it's one of those things where it is definitely more of a challenge, for people to get away from like the compasses and the callable bankers and all those things. But I do think, like what Malcolm said, like those consistent kind of, events and meetups, even if it's not for people that are, even if it's our Real community kind of showing up more consistently, I just think people will really start to take more notice of that, and it'll happen more naturally because I'm the same way. I mean, a big reason why I left EXP is I really, really disliked the culture and the recruiting culture. And that was one thing that Real was so incredibly different with. So we obviously want to stay like really true to that too with what Real does. But yeah, I just want to say, Jody, you're amazing. So
Thank you, Roland. Likewise, we got to get collaborating more soon. I know we really want
I
to.
know.
So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like they're really good people at Real, and Corey, Helen, all the folks associated with each of your teams. So great having Noah back in the mix. And yeah, I think part of it is just finding the opportunities to get together.
I kind of want to bring up something as well, and I absolutely agree with Roland, and I really appreciate what Malcolm said. Sorry, before I ask my questions, though, I know Dan has a question. You have it on chat. Can I read it? Is it So the question is, if you were going to start producing content and growing from scratch today, what would you do differently?
Oh, interesting. Um, yeah. So first, okay, two answers. One is just start. I had a conversation with Dustin Prom. I did an interview with him. We were talking about this quite a bit, that you just need to start and just start creating content. And every piece of content is like a practice swing. You're just gonna get better and better and better at it, and set that goal of just getting 1% better with every piece of content that you make. And a lot of people, they want to have this perfect master plan before they start. Like, no, you just got to start and keep getting better. The second thing
Malcolm,
is,
to
yeah,
that point, I'm sorry to cut you off, but just that to that point, would you be platforms, centric, or would you just kind of post to YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook all at the same time, or how would you focus your platform energy?
yeah. So I mean, you can either focus on, really, Instagram and YouTube are going to be kind of the two main platforms. And so you can either focus on short form content or long form content. And mostly what people are doing right now is, if you're doing short form, you make the content for Instagram. You can upload it to Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, but really you're kind of focused on Instagram. Um, and you also kind of don't want to spread yourself too thin. Like, there's specific type of content that works well on TikTok and versus Facebook versus Instagram versus YouTube, but you really can't spread yourself that thin. And I'd say focus on Instagram or focus on YouTube. And of course, you can upload the shorts on the other ones, but don't make those your primary focus. Um, and I would say, like, what you want to look for is, what is like I think Gary Vee calls it like an arbitrage of attention. Like, what is the latest, hottest thing right now that you can still get first mover advantage in? So, like, what I mean by that is, somebody like Dan Parker, he's in your guys' market. Like, he started creating YouTube content in 2019. And he kind of figured out this new business model with YouTube. It's working. Nobody else is doing it. And he had several years of creating content where he had almost no competition. Now, 5, 6 years later, there's tons of competition, people copying exactly what he was doing. And he's seeing diminishing returns because there's so many people creating the exact same type of content. For a while there, Raj Sahu was doing, well, he's still doing these like home tours of new construction, and like nobody else is in his markets doing it. Now, a few years later, lots of people are copying exactly what it's doing. And it's, not working near as well as it was during this like kind of peak. So what is like the next latest trend? Right now, it's actually on Instagram. As much of I'm a huge fan of YouTube, but these Instagram educational, informational, like hyper local informational reels that people are doing. Have you guys seen these? Like, they are crushing it. And I'm seeing people building 20, 30, 40,000 followers on Instagram in just a few months. And a lot of people are doing this using AI avatars now of themselves. And some people have even trained their virtual assistants on how to get these news headlines, pump it in ChatGPT to create a sensational script, pump that into HeyGen, and then get the HeyGen avatar with just some static images behind it. And they're pumping out 1, 2, 3 reels a day and building these huge accounts. This right now is what the biggest opportunity, I think, is in content creation, is these informational videos. And if I was creating content right now, that's what I would be focusing on right now. And a couple years ago, it was really YouTube, and then it was the home tours. Right now, this is kind of the hottest new trend, that 5 years from now, there's going to be dozens of channels doing it, but there still may not be much competition with that kind of stuff. And if you guys are on the Real Estate Video Blueprint Mastermind, they talk about this model quite a bit in a lot of those calls. So I would figure out what is the latest trend that's really working, jump on that while it's still hot, while there's still not much competition for something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. I almost feel like, should I even ask this question? I guess it's a little bit of an objection handling in terms of like when we were talking about real brokerage, and then they started comparing us. I mean, EXP is easy to tackle, right? It's like they just don't like the culture, they don't like the branding. So Real's branding is great. But when it comes to like comparing us with, let's say, Compass, they would talk about like how Compass has such great technology platform and they have this off-market listings collaboration is huge. I recently was just talking to somebody in the Silicon Valley and then he was like, yeah, I just spoke with Compass. They immediately showed me they have 300 off-market listings in just Silicon Valley. How do you compete with that? So kind of wonder if you or anyone would have some kind of like, like what would you say to comments like that?
Yeah, that's a tricky one, the soft market stuff. Because aren't they also, isn't Zillow also like not going to be listing those very soon? So it could actually hurt them in the long run. Um, I'm not great at objection handling, just to be honest. I'm way better at marketing than I am sales. But for something like that, I would start the conversation off like, well, what's most important to you? Like, what is most important to you in a cloud brokerage? Is, having access to off-market listings, or is it technology? And if it is technology, I talk about how Real has over 130 full-time developers building out our software, building out our technology. We have technology that nobody else in this industry has. And we have a huge push on AI. Maybe you could send them my interview I just did with Tamir, where you talked about some of the cool stuff that we're going to be coming out with our AI. And ultimately, we want our AI to be able to write contracts for our agents. And right now, it can review contracts, make sure you have initials everywhere, and that they're going to be rolling out an AI version of you that your clients or leads can have a speech conversation with, and the AI is going to be in your voice, and it can answer questions to them about their transactions, about the home buying process. And so I kind of try to focus on that and tell them about this vision of where Real is going with our technology. Um, and yeah, that's probably what I would do in that situation is like, yeah, we don't have that. We don't have any intention of doing off-market properties. We're not really sure. It doesn't look like that's really going to stick around very much, and it may just smear their reputation, but this is our vision of what's coming in the pipeline, what we're building here at Real.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, one of the things that I did say was that basically go back to the culture, what we talked about, the culture within Real, how we are really focusing on collaboration and also like agents helping agents. Instead of, to me, Compass, I do feel like, yeah, their technology is great. They have this great off-market listings on the back end, but at the same time, I personally don't want to be within that culture. So Real is one that the work hard, be kind, and looking at what other agents are doing for each other. That's what makes me feel like, I would love to bring my team and join Real's family instead.
I love that answer. Yeah, like focusing on the culture of the company, because like that's not a very collaborative stance of Compass, that
Mhm.
they have listings, but like we're not allowed to sell them, only they can sell them. And it's also probably not great for the client, and I think that in the long run could hurt their reputation more than it helps it.
Yeah, and sorry, one more comment was that we recently was just working with another commercial realtor who's really well known within these big firms before, but then he came out and started his own brokerage. And he himself said that he knows a lot of these big commercial real estate brokerages, they just love to double end the deals. They don't like to collaborate. And he was talking about how he really would like to change that and making sure that we are not just focusing on double ending the deal, but focusing on making the best decisions for their clients and collaborate with other agents. I feel like that's what everyone should believe in. And if the company, and a lot of these big companies, literally, this is what they push to their agents, right? Double end the deals, double end the deals. So
Mhm.
if we don't have more people come out and say that, no, we need to do the right thing for our clients, then we're just going to be stuck with that kind of, I feel like it's like an old school mentality. So I told him, so I really appreciate him recognizing and acknowledging the fact that there is this issue within the CRE industry. And yeah, so I feel like we're just kind of like starting from small, and then we can start growing this kind of mindset and culture later on.
Yeah, I think it's a great response, focusing on the culture side of things.
Helen, thank you for sharing that. May I ask, was this a real estate agent who you were talking with, or a seller or a buyer?
is a real estate agent.
So Malcolm, I know we had, asked you to come for till 9:30. Don't we certainly you're welcome to hang out and more questions, but also wanted to be respectful of your time. And so
Yep, I appreciate that. I'm actually good for another half an hour if you guys want to keep
yeah,
talking or if you guys want to
go
pivot the
on.
conversation to anything.
I
Are
just
there more questions for Malcolm just around?
I had a thought just on the topic of what we were talking about is just having sat in one of the big name brokerages for 8 years in their sales meetings. It seems like everyone was just holding their cards so close to their chest that it was like counterproductive to business. And that's one of the real attraction pieces for me coming to Real. And I feel like it's a whole mindset shift to like more of an abundance mindset, which is like a principle I live my life by. And the idea, I think, with this community is to build a bigger pie, right? And we all benefit from the bigger pie in collaborating. And that looks, the topic kind of being collaboration over competition. I found in my local market, I'm on a text thread with 10 of the top agents in Nevada, and we're sharing contractors. They're not all with Real, but like there's so much more business that takes place in a collaborative environment. And I feel like that's also kind of where the industry is going. Um, so yeah, for me, like a lot of this just comes down to the abundance mindset piece, and it ties in as I'm talking to people that are considering joining. It's kind
So,
of a feature.
Corey, you said that you created a group or you're part of a group of top agents in your market.
Yeah, so where I live here in Nevada, there's agents from all different brokerages, but we are constantly sharing ideas. And like, if a property gets 6 offers, usually someone in that group has written an offer on it. So you can kind of be like, how did this one go if you're looking at comps? And I posted something in the Facebook group yesterday that just said collaboration happens at the top, like competition happens at the bottom. And I felt like it was important just to kind of mention that as, I think that was a blind spot for me when I was a newer agent. I didn't want to like
જીત્યા વાળું છું કે નહીં
set my bounds.
ઓલા સામેથી મને મળી.
Oh. So yeah, I think that's what's cool about Real is we're all encouraging each other. We're all trying to grow together. We're not creating these silos. It's like an open playbook. Roland's been amazing with that. He's talking around the country now with everyone about a playbook that worked really well for him. And rather than holding his cards close to his chest, he's like, here's the playbook. Here's what's working. Like, go get them. And I think that's the mindset we should all embrace. And as we're building this group, like we're all ears and, anything we can do to help create more collaboration, we're here for it. So not really a question in there, but just kind of a brain dump as I'm listening and absorbing stuff from Malcolm here.
Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, it's kind of like just how I want to run my business as well. I don't want to look as everybody as a competitor and have to, keep my secrets to myself. Like that's not a great way to run your life or run your business. And it's just so much more fun just to collaborate and, have fun with people and kind of trust that it's going to work out in the end. I just did an interview with Dustin Brahm, the Massive Agent podcast. And out of everybody, like he may be one of my kind of biggest competitors, in the fact that he's also creating a lot of content and he's Instagram and YouTube content all about Real. And I could be like, oh no, he's, my competition. I just stay away from him. It's him or me. It's like, but with co-sponsorship, and it just makes it so much easier just to collaborate, man. I just did an interview with them, creating a bunch of Instagram content, and it's just way more fun, man. It's way more fun. It's how I want to run my business, how I want to run my life, as well.
Totally.
um,
I've had that theme of like make real estate fun again, since
Yeah.
rates went up. I feel like the whole industry has become a little bit less fun, to be honest. And it's like that's part of the reason we're building this too, is so we can share war stories. And Helen, Jody, and I and Noah have had some good talks. And it's like sometimes it's just good to hear that we're all sharing challenges, even if we don't have the answers right away. Having that community of people to tap into and to have honest conversations with is so important.
Mm-hmm.
and Brian?
Yeah, Malcolm, I was wondering, have you done a side versus reel?
I haven't yet. No, I keep hearing more about side though.
That would be a really good one in our area because, yeah, Noah was at side, Corey and Helen, Susanna. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, and Helen and Corey as brand founders. So, right, Helen and Corey, like being able to bring your brands over to Real has been, I think, pretty seamless. And the more founders that come, it's like the more I think people really take notice.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
you
was
guys.
watching you, Malcolm, as I was looking to make a move, and I was looking for that specific video, and then because I was watching Reel from afar and like know Sharon a little bit from his consulting days, um, and I think when he reached out announcing the private label, I was like, well, here we are. I'm going. Like, so the private label option was compelling, and I think that would be a good because the financials is it's a no-brainer from that standpoint, but might be worthwhile. It's hard because it's like so much in the background that you don't even know who's with them a lot of times. A lot of these boutique brokerages are side based, but
It's
And
not
are they?
until you go to the team and you see Hillary Sanders there.
Exactly.
And so are they not a brokerage?
They
Or
are
they
they
are
are
a
a
brokerage.
brokerage, but then they focus on building teams. So their recruitment is based on teams instead of agents. So no, there's no individual agents within side. Everyone belongs to a team.
Ah, okay.
So
Yeah,
their focus and objective was that they are helping teams to build these mini brokerages. So and then so that they can focus on building their own team members. Brian, were you with Side before?
No, but I did talk to Side when I
Okay.
was thinking about making the move and ended up going with Jody and collaborating with her. But yeah, I did a lot of looking into Side.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you can ask, Sam also used to be with Side, and Side, the hardest decision for us as a team was that Side has this great Side app where you can draft your contract on the app, and I could be like drafting my contract on my phone wherever I go. It was so seamless, and I can like we do a lot of collaboration within our team on one transaction, so anyone can just go on there and then work on the files and the contracts. That was really, it was so convenient. So like when we decided to switch to Real, we were really worried. It's like, oh, we have to go back to zip form. How we don't even know how to use zip form anymore. So, but I mean, everyone kind of got used to it. I would ask Susanna if you have any comments about like using zip form instead of side app for contracts.
Um, well, one thing about the Sci app is that they would make you fill out the mandatory spaces. Like you wouldn't miss a thing if it's mandatory to be filled out. So that's one thing you have to get used to of checking yourself nowadays on the zip form, because you could have missed something. And but I mean, tagging is still we have to tag it ourselves and just be creative on the DocuSign. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not really that big of a change. Once we are in it, we're like, okay,
Yeah.
it's manageable. But at
Right.
first, that was the biggest fear is from the side app to Real. And then I hear that a lot from a lot of the side agents. Yeah.
yeah. If you guys know anybody good at side you want to connect me with, I'd be happy to do a kind of a side by side interview with them. I think that'd be nice.
As a matter of fact, we do hear more and more side agents are deciding to leave. Yeah, I think it's the culture change
Mhm.
over the years. So a lot of side agents have decided to part ways. But yeah, that's why to me, I thought it will be a very natural transition going from side to real because the original culture of side is very similar with real. It just has changed.
I also think this is a great idea for a video for you guys to make. You know, why we left side for real, or real versus side, what the real differences are, something like that. Since you had that experience at both companies.
I think you can also say that it ties into the compass conversation about how because my conversation with about Compass, whether it's a client or whether it is a seller or buyer, is that Compass is like the other big firms in the sense that you have the top 5 or 10%, and then you have a lot of people who kind of do things part-time. And so if you have a team more like Real, people who are independent contractors who really treat it as a business, when we have off-market transactions, we're really picking the people who actually make sense to take it to instead of blasting it out. And our sellers, we're actually taking care of our sellers by putting it as a coming soon and then putting it onto the market as well. So it's kind of like, unless you're a heavy buyer's agent, I don't really see the big shiny object about Compass, to be completely transparent with my thought. But I think that when we have the team of Real and the top producing agents, and then we have teams under those agents, we are really getting to them more specifically and taking more the sniper approach than the shotgun approach, which benefits our clients instead of us. That's just kind of my
that's
thought.
a good one. Thanks, Sam.
I like that. I like that. Now that I think about it, I'm sorry, I'm just keep thinking about the side thing now. Like,
Yeah.
Also side, they do provide a lot of business tools on the back end that's free. So when you switch over to Real, then you have to actually build up all those tools yourself. But of course, the compensation at Real, you can make up for it by hiring other people. But it's just that you definitely have to, put in a lot more time and effort to build back up all those tools.
Yeah, it's the golden handcuff principle right there.
Yes.
That's why you should never use an email account at your brokerage, because then you're stuck with that, for a long time. I learned that lesson painfully with Keller Williams.
Yeah. And Dan?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just so in my former lives, I've recruited thousands of people. It's the only thing I do well in life, pretty much. But the thing I wanted to mention about this, and I'd be happy to help anybody who has like specific questions about this, absolutely, is we get stuck in our own mind when we hear an objection like what we're describing, where the Compass objection of, hey, these are this big pool of private listings and it's all great for me. And we forget to ask, well, what's important to you about that? And I think that the biggest thing I see people do in recruiting that's just death for the opportunity of getting somebody to share what's actually going on for them. There's a reason they're at the table talking to you. There's a reason they're looking around. And our job is to ask as many questions as we can and not get stuck on trying to sell, you know what I mean? Like what our opportunity is and why we're there, because no one really cares. They want to figure out why they might go there. So the one thing I just throw out there that I know is sort of a secret sauce thing that sounds really simple, but it's super, super important to really ask that question, even if you assume, this is a great example, right? Because you would assume, well, it's because there's going to be a lot more pool for their buyers, but it could be something totally different. It could be that they see that as an opportunity for their sellers to have something exclusive that they talk about, who knows? And so I think it's then you can describe, oh, so it's really important for you to have exclusive tools for your sellers. Yes, cool. Well, let's talk about what Real can do to help you with that. You know what I mean? So I think it's just, I'll shut up. I'm just going to say so important. If you guys want to recruit a bunch of people of high quality, don't focus on what you love about the company. Focus on what they are interested in as they're thinking about making a change.
I love that. Absolutely. Yeah, the other day we were on this Zoom where they announced all these top agents in the Bay Area. And I mean, there are a lot of different brokerages, obviously. And I think some of us probably know some of the bad names who are the top agents, but then they're just not very ethical when it comes down to business. So we kind of talk among ourselves as a team. We're just like, this is why I don't think that we need to strive for being let's say the number one agent in the area if what it takes to get there is to use these unethical business practice to get there. And I think this is one thing I really hope by building up our community here is to promote that, like, look, being part of Real, this is what we talked a lot: work hard, be kind, agents helping agents. That's the culture that we have. Is not all about like just being number one. And I for me, sometimes I feel like some brokerages, that's all they care about: double-ended deals. You gotta like everything just transactional. To me, real estate is not just transactional, it's relationship. So that would be kind of go back to Dan, what you were saying. What is the most important thing for us is not about just the compensation structure within Real. And just looking at the poll here, most answers here is about the community and the culture here. So that's exactly what you were saying, that hey, that's what I'm looking for, that's what our team's looking for, and that's why we are here at Real. All right. Anyone else have any comments? Oh, would love to hear from Ariel.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for this monthly meeting. I think it's super valuable just to be in the room and feel validated. I'm a brand new agent, and so this is my first brokerage that I've been at, and so I feel really grateful to enter such a solid and mindful community. And these are reasons why I also like didn't choose bigger brokerages like Compass and things like that. I want to feel more intentional with all of this as much as we can. And so it's been really great to hear from folks. I think my internet might be bad, but maybe you caught some of that.
You're solid. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I love the backdrop. I love the wood paneling.
Thank you. It's in every room. So yeah. I love this, and I'm so grateful that Malcolm, that you took the time with us. It's really valuable, and yeah, I mean, Real's the real deal. So let's keep it rolling. And I think, yeah, like the more we show how easy it is for us to come together and stay together, I think that's just like a natural law of attraction. People like want to be involved with that. We have fun while we work.
And I love the fact that Ariel's been showing up every month. That's why I was like, you got to talk. And you're not brand new anymore. So because you've been here every month, you're not brand new anymore. Like Jody said, you're crushing it.
Thank you. Really great to learn from such experienced people who are doing things mindfully.
Awesome. Anyone else would like to say something? Anne, Genevieve, Dominic? No.
Well, Helen, I actually feel like you may be sharing, you were built kind of doing something similar with Side, right? Of like bringing that community together, and something you've shared about it taking time, stuck with me. And so I'm curious if you want to just like, as an inspiration for the seeds we're planting, like share any thoughts you have on that.
Taking time. Sorry, which part was it?
Well, what I remember is like you said, like it was, you were meeting and like it was taking time to gain kind of traction and momentum.
Yeah, well,
And we're
so
still early, right, with this. So
exactly. I think we're still early with this. And so one thing we talked about earlier was that we actually started doing this coffee chat in our community with the first initial idea was that, hey, let's do a get together at Phil's Coffee once a month. And we got Phil's to agree, the manager to agree to let us do it. And then so we just kind of like, okay, let's put up a sign and then put an open house sign saying free coffee, we sponsor. Then all of a sudden we have people just kept calling us like, hey, I see that you guys have this free coffee chat and we would like to join. So we went from just a handful, like less than 10 people, now like consistently we have so many. Like yesterday we just had one for 45, 50 people cramping in this little patio area. And then every single month we meet new people, and all these small business owners just want to come in and network. And now we're like known in this our little community over here is like, oh, every first Thursday of the month we're gonna go there because Helen is doing this coffee chat. So it's really nice to see in 11 months how this has grown to be. We almost feel like everyone knows us now. And I had one person who came all the way from Nevada, drive all the way down to Silicon Valley Campbell to meet us at this coffee chat. I was just, yeah, really touched. But yeah, it takes time, but the consistency is really important. So I hope that we can also do the same thing for our virtual mastermind group here, and then do some like local mastermind groups so we can meet each other in person.
Yeah, thank you, Helen. I love that. And just like, who are the people who showed up today, right? It's the people that I want to be in collaboration with. So I feel like the more we do that, just like put energy into the relationships that help feed us and that energize us, and that we can have that just collaboration. So love that you do that coffee chat. Want to announce that we're opening our new office next week. So looking at how we can use that as a space for collaboration. Noah intends to come down a couple days a week, and Roland would love for you to be part of that as well. And you know, just like as you're saying, Malcolm, the more we can be in the same room together and collaborating, the more that's gonna kind of just create that energy.
Question, Jody. So is your office space opening up for all the real agents, or is it for Kai?
So that's what I'm just still trying to figure out. What I was thinking about is like having 2 days a week, kind of like after tour, where it's just open office, anybody come, and to encourage, like when people are out touring, let's brown bag it and just come and hang out. And then if people want 24/7 access, then we'd have some sort of like shared office fee or something, but just to open it up for free for a couple days a week and just get people collaborating.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
And one thing came to mind with Dominic being on, and like Jody backing off of you on your, want the heart in your collaboration. And I, again, just to two things, you from the beginning, I feel like been a trailblazer here. And even though the blossoms haven't fully like happened yet, like I just want to honor like from EXP till now, like you're doing it. And for all of us in the Bay Area, this market is, it's got, I think there's some roadblocks around a cloud brokerage, right? And so props to you on that. And I think that it's going to happen, right? And
thank you, Noah.
Yeah, totally. And with Dominic and Dan on as well, I feel like part of the spirit of this, right, is like we want to work with cool people, and we want to do something where it's going to truly benefit their lives and their business. And so Dominic, you're plugged in the East Bay market. It's like our collaboration partners. If you feel like there's people that could benefit from collaboration, like we want to invite that, your wisdom and like your heart for serving their lives too, not to have you as like a full recruiting partner, but like to know that you can potentially be a matchmaker of some kind if it's in service to the agents.
Yeah, and I'd love to just point out, so Dominic and I met years ago, and I had my lending partners that I loved and I worked with, and he was just constantly there answering questions when I had questions. I mean, it must have been close to 6 months to a year before I even sent him a lead. And so just the dedication of being consistent, being helpful. And then when I finally did send him a lead, he obviously crushed it. And now he's obviously the person I want all my clients to work with. So, it just piggybacking on it takes time, and being consistent really does work.
And I'll say, just you have other industry partners, and we have a lot of our own relationships. And I can tell you that I can count on more than all my fingers and toes the amount of agents that come and talk to me before they think about making a move. Hey, I'm considering this. I'm considering this. What do you know about who's over here? And so it becomes a less intimidating space, maybe than to go to a sit-down sales meeting where they might feel like they're being sold on something. So you do have partners in the industry. And I think it's talking with those partners about, hey, in case anyone asks you, this is what we're doing, this is what we're excited about. We can be advocates for you, for your brokerage, for your mission statement. And so don't think that you need to go directly to agents yourself always, all the time, or have them pulled in. Your partners can do a lot of that conversion for you.
I love that. Love that. All right, we're right on time. Is there anything else that anyone wants to make a comment on? Corey, I'll let you close.
No, I mean, thank you, Malcolm, for making time for us. We know you're a busy guy, and it means a lot to join us, and you've done a really good job in building your business the way you have. So I appreciate you joining. And then kind of reiterating what Noah said is we're building this community for everyone. I mean, Helen, Jody, Noah, and I have kind of taken the lead, but it's not at all about us. So like if you have feedback or ideas, we're all ears. Try to chime in on the community pages, and we're in our infancy still, and we appreciate you guys showing up and building this group. So that's about all I got for today. Otherwise, have a great weekend and sell some real estate this fall selling season.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.